It's Clive Roxing here. There was a lady on the internet that asked a question. She said a little one was studying science. I put her onto some math, some condensed stuff I'd done with AES. But look, I don't have kids, and once you get to know me you'll know why. But if you're going to teach your kids, lead by example. 3D printing's where it's all at now. I bought this for $2 off of the local bloke at Flaren, and it only had three wheels. Flaren, you bastard! How am I going to get home? Anyway, I thought, well, I'll 3D print some wheels for this and make a bit of a hot rod out of it. There's little tiny bearings, but they're like $10 each. These are only little skate bearings. They're nice, so they're 22mm by 8mm or something like that. They're only about $2 each, and I'll have to make some new axles up for this. And this is going to be testing rolling resistance, and it's a nice cheap way to do it. This is a test that I did for the coefficient of friction. Unfortunately, I rattled through all the math and I didn't explain it properly. So now I'm going to have to pan right through that and figure all that out. But I have got all the data there. And what I want to figure out is when you load this thing up and the tyres go like a quarter flat, how much resistance is holding it back. And then I'll make PLA wheels which are literally solid. And then do the test again and pull it along with a little, I've got a little set of scales there I used last time, but I've got another set of scales there. I really need an inline scale. But, you know, if you're going to teach your kids, lead by example. Make bits and, buy one of these little kits and custom make bits and pieces for it. Get them a set of files and get them filing things off and fitting things and understanding how. This is a very, very good little model. I think it's designed for a 4-year-old, so I'm struggling with it a bit. I had to look at the instructions how to put this together, I swear to God. I had to look at the instructions how to put it together. I pulled it all apart and I couldn't get it back together, so I had to consult the instructions. But I'm going to put little skate bearings in this, make some new wheels up for it, and start plunking weight on it and pull it along. I've got a digital set of scales here, but I don't like these because you've got to pull them like that way. And I can't read the readout, and it's very crude. So I've just got to get something more accurate. And this is what you do with science and mathematics. You develop all this stuff. I'm currently making up this is a thing for me drill, and that's for it's gonna make a it's a machine. It's like I don't know, auxiliary or a spare engine you can put on things, and this is a little milling machine I bought, and I'm trying to think of an adapter for I want to make it multi-versatile, and make it so not only does it work with this thing here, which I've got set up, but it's also going to work with maybe the little milling machine as well. So that's some stuff I've made up. Just turn that light on. Some stuff I've made up for that. It's very, very hard making stuff for this because it's got so many dips and curves in it. But yep, 3D printing. That's the way things are going now, and you don't have to spend $1 million, but you have to do a lot of math. A lot of figuring. Work with your kid. Be designing bits and pieces and get them to put it together. And they're going to be working with, mum and dad. They'll be thrilled because they're actually working with, you usually do this when your kid's 17. You can do this when your kid's 4 or 5. And you can be 3D making parts and they can be falling by, Dad, this doesn't fit. And, this is where it's all at. So, although this seems like a bit junior, I can assure you this is going to be quite complicated to do this. I'm going to make some custom wheels for this. I wouldn't mind making them 5-spoke mags. But it's going to be tricky to see how I can do that. Anyway, I've got this calculation here on the coefficient of resistance, and what it was I calculated the frictional resistance of the plate, And I calculated it all in Australian units, which are a pain in the butt, and drachms and hundredweight and all this sort of stuff. But the funny thing is, it's better than metric, because metric's all ones and zeros. This stuff's all odd, which is wonderful. It's much easier to work with because you know when you got the right answer. When you get answers like 1101.111011, it kind of makes it tricky. That's why FPS units are much better to work with. See how the numbers are all completely different? So, if you want to teach your kids science, you know, get the old 3D printer working and get involved in this. Bloody well, get off your butt and design something together with your kids. You make it up on the 3D printer and design it, and they can be putting it together, and you have a whale of a time. You all learn, and you learn to work with your kids, and that's insane. You know, you get working relationships with your friends at work. How many people can honestly say they get a working relationship with their kids? They learn to cooperate. They learn to be, you know, they learn to be cooperative and you know, not do tantrums. And even when you're upset, you still got to deal with people, teach them sort of business practice. You know, you don't necessarily have to love them, but you got to do what you're asked to do. Otherwise, you don't keep your job. So these are all important things to be teaching your kids. So you know, you can do this. 3D printers are a fall. I bought my first Creality for $100. So it's not expensive, but this is the way of the world now. And I'm going to 3D make some bits for this, and use this as a bit of a test case. So, Clive Rocksinger, over and out.